Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy from Steve Arts 89. A little bit of a Star Trek update. Not a lot happening, but we had some news. There is a character on Picard called Elnor, and that's the one that people were making fun of because they're saying he looked like Legolas from Lord of the Rings, looked like an elf. He's a Romulan. There is a young actor who plays the character um, in the show. He's different ages. And they sent him a jacket as a present, and he put a picture on Instagram, and it said Lisa Rena Flight Crew, and it was confirmed, I believe, that that is actually the name of the cargo ship that Picard is on in the ship in the trailer. So that's interesting. We've got the name of the ship. And there's also a symbol that he's wearing, which Picard is also wearing, and there's some speculation as to what that is and how they're linked, but it's just speculation, so I'm not going to bother going into that. Now, there is a bit of a nasty rumour, and there's always a nasty rumour with Star Trek these days, that Picard, who is helping this female character who's supposedly some sort of chosen one, some ultra uber Mary Sue, which is always the way it goes, but it's also always the rumour that is happening as well. Basically, the story is that on this mission he gets killed, and they, at the end of the series, they name their ship the Picard, and then season 2 of Picard is the show going on with this crew of nobodies, these renegades, are going to go on doing the show without Picard, and they're going to call it Picard and try and, I guess they're going to try and do a Roseanne and have the show going without the character. And I'm like, because Patrick Stewart's just too expensive, they can't keep him on and keep doing the show. Now that seems like a fairly ridiculous rumour, but nothing would surprise me with these people, so I'm just going to mention it. Now, the other thing was Michael Dorn was rumoured to be in the show because there was a picture again on Instagram of a clapper that had he'd signed it. So he was there. It was a present for someone, but that just means he was there on the day he was visiting the set, and that's apparently all it was. But then again, the same people lied to us about a bunch of things. So he could be in the show and they're just trying to surprise us. So he may still be in the show. That may have been a slip-up, maybe a genuine mistake, and he may actually be in the show. But it also may just be that he was visiting the show because he's friends with Jonathan Frakes and Patrick Stewart, and they're both working on the show. So we don't know. We'll find out when we see it. It'd be nice to have a surprise. I'd like to think that we haven't seen it all, but there's no way of telling. Now, the other thing that's happened, which is kind of surprising, I found out that the Saturn Awards, the 45th Saturn Awards came up, and The Expanse was only nominated for one Saturn Award. Now, this is apparently a great show. Now, I must admit, I watched the first season and a half and got bored, and didn't go back to it, but I've got it on DVD. I'll get back to it eventually. I've got it on Blu-ray. I'll get to it. But it didn't really, I didn't find it great, but everyone was going on about how brilliant it was and how diverse it was without being pandering or anything. And I was going to rewatch it, but it got one single award. As I was saying, Star Trek Discovery got 5 nominations. Now, why Star Trek Discovery got 5 nominations when it legitimately has some serious problems with the script, with the science? There's a lot of real problems. There are a lot of people you can just dismiss as haters and say they just don't like the show because a whole bunch of reasons, but there's no denying some of the problems with the show and the canon problems. And there's real problems with the show. It's and a lot of it has to do with licensing and a revolving door of writers and showrunners and creators and just a lot of problems. But yet they got 5 nominations and they won 3 of them. Now, Sonequa Martin Green got Best Actress, and I struggle with that because her acting alternates between wooden, which could be her trying too hard to act like a someone who was raised by Vulcans and trying not to have emotions, because sometimes actors who try and act like they have no emotions or fake do not do a good job of acting fake, or so I don't know, but I didn't really appreciate her acting in the first season. And the second season, she became schizophrenic, where one minute she was hysterical, and the next minute she was Vulcan again. Now, whether that's direction, whether that's story, whether that's the character that's supposed to be having this experience, or whether it's just bad acting, I couldn't tell for sure. But I'm surprised they would give her that award when there are other actors who have, some fairly smooth, consistent quality of work in the other series. So I was surprised she got that. Now, Doug Jones, he got Best Supporting Actor in a Streaming Presentation, because she got Best Actress in a Streaming Presentation. So I don't know exactly what they were competing with, the other streaming shows. I don't know how many there are. But I'm not surprised Doug got it, because Doug is a good actor, and he's just so damn hardworking, and he's just always under all that damn makeup, and no one else can do it like he does. So I'm happy for him to get the award. I knew he would. I knew he'd get some awards for this, and he should. Like Leonard Nimoy should have for Spock. But the other one was Best Streaming Science Fiction Action or Fantasy Series. Really? I can kind of handle people saying they like the show, people who don't like Star Trek, or I can kind of accept some people like it, but I can't accept saying it is better than any other show, because there are so many actual legitimate technical problems with the show that any intelligent, sophisticated person looking at will see. So I'm wondering who the hell is voting on this. Obviously people who don't know or watch science fiction, or they're just bored, because what I'm hearing is that anyone who pays $25 to join the Saturn Awards, some element of the awards, can vote. So it's not an exclusive pool of people. It's not like the Foreign Press Association or the Academy or something. It's just anyone. So I could have voted. So that's fair in one way, because it means it's open to the audience and just anyone can vote, kind of like the People's Choice on some level. But at the same time, it does leave it open to people with a lot of money who want their show to have an award to help it with its streaming or its credibility or whatever. So I would not question Doug Jones getting the award, but the other two awards I would question their legitimacy, because there are other better shows that I don't know if they're awarding it on production, maybe because it was an expensive show and some of the money did seem to go on screen. I think a lot of it went into other people's pockets and didn't end up on screen. But there's no way that show is $7 million an episode. But so that's Saturn Awards. Now the Emmys. Now I got kind of excited because they got the makeup award, and I was like, thank God they got the makeup award for the creative awards, creative Emmys, and not the titles design award for the main Emmys, because I do not want Discovery to win a real Emmy, because the only Star Trek shows to have been nominated for Emmys, the original Star Trek was voted Best Drama and Best Actor every year, and a bunch of technical awards. Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise all got a lot of awards, technical award nominations, but they only got one real award. I thought they got a few acting awards, but they only got one real Emmy award, which was for Best Drama Series, which was a real nod of respect to the series and the quality of the series in its last year. They didn't win. Now Discovery, they've basically been nominated for what is essentially a technical award, the titles, which is it's a technical award. It's like creating titles. It's not acting. It's not writing. It's not a real Emmy award. It shouldn't be in the it should not be in the category. That category should not be on that award show. But because that's their only chance of getting a real Emmy. So they've put in for that, and they could get it. Now, when I saw they got the technical award for makeup, I thought, thank God they got a makeup award. They didn't get the real Emmy for the titles. And then I found out then I thought, just wait, don't they do those award shows separately? And they do the technical awards a week or so before the real Emmys. The real Emmys don't happen until next week on the 22nd. So they could still win a real Emmy for a technical category in the real Emmys. So I'm really scared. I don't want them to get it. They don't deserve it. It would be an absolute slap in the face to the original series, Next Generation, even Deep Space Nine, Voyager and Enterprise, for them to get an actual Emmy nomination and Emmy award. because the original Star Trek and Next Generation, which were great shows, didn't win any awards because they were too ahead of their time. They could not get the respect they needed to get the award. Whereas Discovery, I think they're pretty much, I don't understand. They have to be buying these awards. I don't understand how they got that. I don't even know how that is even in the categories. So there's that. So they did win, and I was kind of surprised when they won for Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup for a series, limited series, movie or special. Because the makeup, okay, the designs are great, and some of the actual applications that are great, but when I was watching episodes, I could see Spock's brows were stuck on. I could see the application, and I'm like, okay, it's HD. I don't have HD on my Netflix. It's actually the standard, so I can't imagine what the hell it would look like on actual HD. But they clearly didn't have the technical skill to apply the makeup so it didn't appear on the screen. And that, to me, says you don't get an award. But they got it anyway. I guess they could get it for design, but not for application. But I don't know how you separate the two. So I don't know how the hell they got that. But they got that. And I got all excited because I thought they didn't get their one, but they could still get it. So I'm dreading that. I'll be watching the next few days to see what the hell happens there. I do not want them to get it. So that's that. That's the awards. Now, I do like the design for some of them. I do think they did some beautiful work. But yeah, like I said, they didn't have the actual technical expertise and the quality and the time spent on actually applying the effects. So they let down the design with the application. So that's that. And what was the last thing? I think that's it. Yes, that's the week in Star Trek, basically. Not a lot has happened. We found out about the name of the ship for Picard. There's the rumour that they're going to kill him and go on just using the ship as Picard, kind of like Enterprise and Discovery. We're going to have the Picard ship with no Patrick Stewart. And then we have the 4 awards, the 3 Saturn awards and the Emmy award. And I just hope I don't get the Emmy. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm just going to stop now. I remembered. They included the name Kesra Troy, or Kesra, as the name of one of the characters in Picard. Now, presumably, that would be Troy and Riker's daughter, because she would be named after, because that was Troy's sister's name, her sister who died. So presumably they've had a child or children, and one of them is named Kesra after her sister who died. So we also got the name of one of another character. So we got the name of the ship from Picard, and we got the name for the character. So we'll probably see not just Riker, the 2 Rikers in command or on the bridge. We're probably going to see their family as well, which is nice. So I forgot to mention that. So there. Now I'm done.